Hi, I'm Danielle, and today I'm talking about one way to solve an emotional trigger if you ever have these come up. Because I had one come up this morning while talking with a family member. It was bad. And I'm having this interaction with a family member, and as I'm reading these text message words, I had a trigger. And I know it was a trigger because all of a sudden my entire body started trembling, uncontrollably shaking in the moment. And my heart was just boom, boom. And I thought, oh shit, where are my emotions gonna go with this? Because in the past, they could go, they could lash out, right? They could just want to react and go, right? You whatever. And I didn't want to go there because that doesn't resolve anything, nor is it the best way to handle that. And or I could have gone into full depression mode. I could have internalized those words and just internalized it as I suck and been depressed and not eaten for 3 days and cried, and I didn't want to go there. So I noticed my body's reaction, and I lied down on my bed and I put my hand on my heart and I took some deep breaths, just like that. And I instead asked the question, are these statements truth? And the answer was no. And I asked to myself, do I need to find the original root cause of this to process this right now? And the answer in my head was no. So maybe I was in too much of a state of panic or anger or sadness or just this whole conglomerate. I couldn't even define the emotion. So going back to the root cause in that moment wasn't so relevant. Otherwise, I would have done that, and I might go back and do that later. But in that moment, I just had this overwhelming feeling. So once I asked the question, is this truth? And do I need to go back to the root cause? And I received my answers. I knew then also to replace the statements that I was told, that I read, with my truth. So I breathed again and did some affirmations in my mind of what my truth was to help replace what was thrown at me. I also felt in my body, where else besides the overall trembling and obviously the heart, which my heart center was hurt. So the heart, where else in my body was I feeling this? And it was in my mind, my third eye. So I could ask for my highest guidance in that moment, and in my throat, because I just felt that I had no voice. I had my entire voice was just boom, invalidated and not heard. So I expressed again my truths to myself. I breathed through the emotional shaking and feeling of it, and then I called in my guidance, which is always there, but just reinforce that. I focused on my heart center and my love for self and my love, and I then replied back to confirm in my throat chakra that those statements aren't my truth. Those aren't valid to me. And so while the outcome of this wasn't maybe the ideal outcome, I'm not holding hands, skipping down the street with this person in the rainbows, and the outcome was the best possible outcome for that moment. And something you can try. Thank you, and peace and many blessings.